we're going to talk about simple interest. So simple interest is going to be interest equals principal times rate times time. So I equals PRT, principal rate times time. Okay. So our first example is, let's say I have $2,000 at 6% for 1 year, and I want to know how much interest I'm going to receive. So interest equals principal times rate times time. So 2,000 times 0.06 times 1, going to give me a grand total of $120. Okay, so at the end of the year, I get $120 in interest, and so that's how I'm calculating my interest. So what happens if I have more than 1 year? So let's say I have $1,800, and I'm gonna put that into savings for 2 years at 8%. So now I'm gonna use the same formula, but now my T is 2. So I have 1,800 times 0.08 times 2 for a grand total of 288. Plug this in your calculator, multiply it all out, 288. Usually more important than understanding the interest is understanding our future value. Where are we going to be at? What's our grand total? Because a lot of times when we put savings in, we want it to build, right? So we have amount equals principal times the quantity 1 plus RT. So if you kind of think of it like this, this is a simple formula that just says I'm going to take my original amount plus my interest. So that's going to be principal plus PRT, okay? So we're going to just add this. So if like over here, if I wanted to know how much I'd have at the end, I'd take 120, add it to 2,000 for 2,120. This just puts it into one simple equation. So if I have a loan of $1,060 at 6.5% for 3 months, okay, I want to know my future value of that. Well, the first thing is T has to be in years. So anytime we're left in months, we want to convert that to years. So 3 months is, in terms of years, is 3 over 12 or 0.25 years. Okay? So 3 months is going to be the same as 0.25 years. So now I'm going to plug this into my formula. My principal amount was $1,060. My interest rate was 6.5%. My time was 0.25. So I have 1,060 times 1 plus 0.065 times 0.25. So I plug this in a calculator. I'm going to get a grand total of $1,077.23. So in 3 months, this is how much the loan is worth, or this is how much I have to pay back because I've drawn interest on it. Now, what happens if I know my future value and I know how much I put in? Can I figure out my interest rate? Okay, so we're going to find that interest rate. So the first thing is that if I borrowed $2,500 and I paid back $2,655, and I did that in 6 months, right? That's the equivalent of half a year. What is the simple interest rate? Well, I'm going to use this same formula. Amount equals principal times the quantity 1 plus RT. So I'm going to plug this in, okay? So my new amount was $2,655. My original amount was $2,500 plus 1 plus 0.5 R, right? 0.5 because I was half a year. So I'm going to distribute this 2,500 into this. So 2,500 times 1 is 2,500. Half of 2,500 is 1,250. I'm going to subtract my 2,500 over. So 2,655 minus 2,500 is 155 equals 1,250 R. I'm now going to divide 155 by 1,250. I get 0.24 for an interest rate of 12.4%. Okay, so that's how I'm going to find. I'm just going to solve this. It's just algebra solving that. Okay. So the last thing we're going to talk about is present value. If I want to have a certain amount of money at a future time, how much do I have to invest now? That's what we're looking at now. So let's say you plan to save $2,000 for a trip in 2 years. You purchase a CD at 4%. How much do you need to put in to have $2,000 in 2 years? So we're still going to use the same formula. Okay, amount equals principal times quantity 1 plus RT. So I know my amount has to be $2,000. I know my rate is 0.04 and my time is 2 because 2 years. So this becomes 2,000 equals principal times 1.08. I'm going to divide everything by 1.08, and that gives me approximately 1,851 and 85 cents. I think it's actually 0.852 or something like that. So this is how much I would have to put in to that CD to get $2,000 at the end of it. Okay, you might say that you'd have to put in 0.886 because that would make sure I have the $2,000. If I put in 0.85, I actually have slightly less than $2,000. Okay, so that's kind of dealing with simple interest. Okay, and we're going to talk about compound and compound continuous.